CBSE Class 12 History. Chapter 1, Bricks, Beads and Bones, Harappan Civilization. 100 Advanced and Tough MCQs with answers. Instructions. This advanced paper includes assertion reasoning, statement-based, and deep textual questions to test rigorous conceptual clarity. The correct answer is displayed immediately below each question for easy study. 1. Assertion A. Alexander Cunningham failed to understand the true significance of the Harappan seals. Reason R. He primarily used accounts of Chinese Buddhist pilgrims to locate early settlements and thought Indian history began in the Ganges Valley. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. 2. Consider the following statements regarding John Marshall. I. He was the first professional archaeologist to work in India. 2. He introduced the concept of stratigraphy to Harappan excavations. 3. He excavated along regular horizontal units, ignoring the site stratigraphy. Which of the above are correct? A. I and 2. B. I and 3. C. 2 and 3. D. 3 only. Answer. B. I and 3. Page 1 of 28. 3. Who among the following brought military precision to the practice of archaeology in India and rectified Marshall's excavation flaws? A. Dayaram Sahni. B. Alexander Cunningham. C. R.E.M. Wheeler. D. S.N. Roy. Answer. C. R.E.M. Wheeler. 4. The Story of Indian Archaeology was authored by A. S.R. Rao. B. S.N. Roy. C. John Marshall. D. G.F. Dales. Answer. B. S.N. Roy. 5. Which of the following archaeologists is paired incorrectly with their discovery or role? A. Dayaram Sahni discovered seals at Harappa. B. Rakhal Das Banerjee discovered seals at Mohenjo-daro. C. R.E.M. Wheeler authored My Archaeological Mission to India and Pakistan. D. George F. Dales, first Director General of ASI. Answer. D. George F. Dales, first Director General of ASI. 6. Assertion A. R.E.M. Wheeler recognized that it was necessary to follow the stratigraphy of the mound. Reason R. Excavating mechanically along uniform horizontal lines mixes up artifacts from different cultural periods. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Page 2 of 28. 7. What was the primary reason Cunningham was confused by the seal given to him by an Englishman? A. The seal was a modern forgery. B. The script on the seal was Brahmi, which he couldn't read. C. The artifact did not fit into his specific time frame of early historic cities. D. He believed it belonged to the Mauryan period. Answer. C. The artifact did not fit into his specific time frame of early historic cities. 8. According to scholars, the term mature Harappan is used to distinguish this culture from A. Early and late Harappan cultures. B. Vedic and Mauryan cultures. C. Mesopotamian and Egyptian cultures. D. Neolithic and Chalcolithic cultures. Answer. A. Early and late Harappan cultures. 9. Which archaeologist critically questioned the mythical massacre at Mohenjo-daro, challenging the Aryan invasion theory? A. John Marshall. B. R.E.M. Wheeler. C. George F. D. Dales H. Hargreaves. Answer. C. George F. Dales. 10. the discovery of the Harappan civilization was formally announced to the world in A. 1920, B. 1921, C. 1924, D. 1944. Answer C. 1924. Page 3 of 28. 11. Consider the following statements about Harappan agriculture. I. Terracotta models of the plough were found at Cholistan and Banwali. 2. Evidence of a ploughed field was found at Kalibangan. 3. Traces of canals were found at all Harappan sites in Punjab and Sindh. Which are correct? A. I and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. I and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer A. I and 2. 12. Match the archaeospecialists with their primary subjects of study. A. Archaeobotanists. B. Archaeozoologists. 1. Animal bones, cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo, pig. 2. Plant remains, charred grains, seeds. A. A1, B. B. 2A2. C. B1A. D. 1, B-1. A2, B. Answer B. A2, B1. 2. 13. The Harappans likely relied on which of the following for processing food, as indicated by finds of hard, gritty igneous rock? A. Watermills. B. Windmills. C. Saddle querns. D. Iron mortars. Answer C. Saddle querns. Page 4 of 28. 14. Finds of millets in the Harappan context are predominantly associated with sites in A. Rajasthan. B. Gujarat. C. Haryana. D. Afghanistan. Answer B. Gujarat. 15. Which of the following statements about Harappan animal domestication is false? A. They domesticated sheep, goat, and pig. B. Bones of wild species like boar and deer are found. C. They extensively used horses in their cavalry. D. They used oxen for plowing fields. Answer C. They extensively used horses in their cavalry. 16. At which of the following sites have traces of ancient Harappan canals been explicitly found? A. Mohenjo-daro. B. Lothal. C. Shotubhai. D. ADNHSOWLAEVR. IRCA. Shotubhai. 17. The presence of water reservoirs, which may have been used for agriculture, is a distinctive feature of A. Banwali. B. Harappa. C. Dholavira. D. A. Naslaban, GCA, N. Dholavira. Page 5 of 28. 18. Assertion A. The Harappan civilization was largely restricted to the river valleys. Reason R. They lacked the agricultural technology to cultivate semi-arid lands. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer C. A is true but R is false. 19. Which two early Harappan features are generally shared with the mature Harappan culture? A. Subsistence strategies and some pottery styles. B. Iron tools and coinage. C. Temple architecture and written extensive literature. D. Horse domestication and glass making. Answer A. Subsistence strategies and some pottery styles. 20. The archaeozoological evidence suggests that animals like boar, deer, and gharial were A. Worshipped as primary deities. B. Hunted by the Harappans or other hunting communities. C. Used for transport. D. Domesticated for dairy. Answer B. Hunted by the Harappans or other hunting communities. 21. Which of the following is a unique architectural anomaly of Dholavira compared to most Harappan sites? A. It had no drainage system. B. It was divided into 3 parts, each enclosed by a wall. C. It was made entirely of stone without any mud bricks. D. It had no citadel. Answer. B. It was divided into 3 parts, each enclosed by a wall. Page 6 of 28. 22. Assertion A. The drainage system of Mohenjo-daro was unique to the citadel. Reason R. The lower town was inhabited by commoners who did not have access to street drains. A. Both A and R are true. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. Both A and R are false. Answer. D. Both A and R are false. 23. According to Ernest Mackay, which feature of Mohenjo-daro was the most complete ancient system as yet discovered? A. The Great Bath. B. The Granary. C. The macadamized roads. D. The drainage system. Answer. D. The drainage system. 24. Consider the following regarding Mohenjo-daro's domestic architecture. I houses had courtyards which were centers of cooking and weaving. 2. Ground-level walls had numerous windows for ventilation. 3. The main entrance did not give a direct view of the interior. Which are correct? A. I and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. I and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer. C. I and 3. Page 7 of 28. 25. In Harappan sites, the bricks used for construction had a standardized ratio where A. Length and breadth were 2 times and 1.5 times the height respectively. B. Length and breadth were 4 times and 2 times the height respectively. C. Length and breadth were equal to the height. D. Length was 3 times and breadth 2 times the height. Answer. B. Length and breadth were 4 times and 2 times the height respectively. 26. The Great Bath on the citadel of Mohenjo-daro was made watertight by A. Lining the bricks with copper plates. B. Using a mortar of gypsum and setting bricks on edge. C. Coating the floor with bitumen, tar. D. Both B and C. Answer. D. Both B and C. 27. Unlike Mohenjo-daro, the citadel at Lothal was A. Not walled off, but built at a height. B. Walled but located in the lower town. C. Made entirely of baked bricks. D. Non-existent. Answer. A. Not walled off, but built at a height. 28. Assertion A. The layout of Mohenjo-daro suggests that settlement was first planned and then implemented. Reason R. Sun-dried or baked bricks were of standardized proportions and drains were laid out in a grid pattern. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Page 8 of 28. 29. How many flights of steps led into the tank of the Great Bath? A. 4, on all 4 sides. B. 2, on the north and south. C. 1, on the eastern side. D. 2, on the east and west. Answer. B. 2, on the north and south. 30. Which structure in Mohenjo-daro has brick construction only for its lower portions, suggesting the upper parts were made of wood? A. The Great Bath. B. The warehouse, granary. C. The priest king's palace. D. The assembly hall. Answer. B. The warehouse, granary. 31. Assertion A. Harappans generally believed in burying enormous wealth with their dead. Reason R. Excavations at Harappan cemeteries have revealed large hoards of gold and silver in every grave. A. Both A and R are true. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. Both A and R are false. Answer. D. Both A and R are false. 32. Which of the following items was found in a Harappan burial that indicated they occasionally buried utilitarian items with the dead? A copper mirror. B. An iron sword. C. A chariot. D. A gold crown. Answer. A copper mirror. Page 9 of 28. 33. Archaeologists study utilitarian and luxuries to identify A. The architectural layout of cities. B. Social and economic differences. C. The religious beliefs of the Harappans. D. The decipherment of the script. Answer. B. Social and economic differences. 34. Faience is considered a luxury material in the Harappan context primarily because A. It was imported from Mesopotamia. B. It was made of rare meteoritic stone. C. It was difficult to make using a complex technological process. D. It was restricted only to the priest-king. Answer. C. It was difficult to make using a complex technological process. 35. Consider the following statements about Harappan burials. I. The dead were generally laid in pits. 2. Some graves contained pottery and ornaments. 3. There were no differences in the construction of graves. Which are correct? A. I and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. I and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer. A. I and 2. 36. Hoards in Harappan archaeology usually refer to A. Large communal burial pits. B. Objects kept carefully by people, often inside pots. C. The central granaries. D. Weapons stored in the citadel. Answer. B. Objects kept carefully by people, often inside pots. Page 10 of 28. 37. If an archaeologist finds a concentration of rare faience pots, they are most likely excavating in A. A small village settlement like Chanudaro. B. A nomadic campsite. C. A large settlement like Mohenjo-daro or Harappa. D. A purely agricultural site. Answer. C. A large settlement like Mohenjo-daro or Harappa. 38. Which of the following is an example of a utilitarian object, likely made of local materials and distributed widely? A. Querns and pottery. B. Faience miniature pots. C. Gold jewelry. D. Lapis lazuli beads. Answer. A. Querns and pottery. 39. In some Harappan graves, the hollowed-out spaces were lined with A. Wood. B. Copper plates. C. Bricks. D. Stone slabs. Answer. C. Bricks. 40. The presence of ornaments in the burials of both men and women suggests that A. Both genders adorned themselves. B. Women were given higher status in death. C. Only merchants were buried with ornaments. D. The ornaments were used as currency in the afterlife. Answer. A. Both genders adorned themselves. Page 11 of 28. 41. Chanudaro is distinct from Mohenjo-daro primarily because A. It was a massive urban center with over 100 hectares. B. It was a tiny settlement almost exclusively devoted to craft production. C. It was the only site without a drainage system. D. It was the political capital of the civilization. Answer. B. It was a tiny settlement almost exclusively devoted to craft production. 42. Assertion A. Archaeologists identify centers of craft production by looking for raw materials and waste. Reason R. Waste is one of the best indicators of craft work, as larger pieces were used to make smaller objects, but tiny bits were left at the work area. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. 43. The red color of carnelian was obtained by A. Sourcing it from the red soils of Oman. B. Firing the yellowish raw material in beads at various stages of production. C. Dyeing the stone with plant extracts. D. Applying a chemical paste before sun drying. Answer. B. Firing the yellowish raw material in beads at various stages of production. 44. Which of the following stones is a very soft stone, easily worked, and often used to make a paste for molding microbeads? A. Carnelian. B. Agate. C. Jasper. D. Ace and Swatite. D. Steatite. Page 12 of 28. 45. Specialized drills used in bead making have been discovered at which combination of sites? A. Chanudaro, Lothal, and Dholavira. B. Harappa, Kalibangan, and Banwali. C. Mohenjo-daro, Rakhigadi, and Manda. D. Shotubhai, Nageshwar, and Balakot. Answer. A. Chanudaro, Lothal, and Dholavira. 46. Nageshwar and Balakot were specialized centers for making shell objects because A. They had access to highly skilled Mesopotamian artisans. B. They were situated near the coast. C. They had large deposits of lapis lazuli. D. They were the political centers of the empire. Answer. B. They were situated near the coast. 47. Consider the techniques of making beads. Which of the following is true for steatite beads? A. They could only be chipped into geometric shapes. B. They were primarily exported to Egypt. C. Some were molded out of a paste made with steatite powder, allowing various shapes. D. They required diamond-tipped drills. Answer. C. Some were molded out of a paste made with steatite powder, allowing various shapes. 48. Which of the following pairs is correctly matched regarding raw material sourcing? A. Lapis lazuli, Shotubhai. B. Carnelian, South India. C. Steatite, Oman. D. Copper, Nageshwar. Answer. A. Lapis lazuli, Shotubhai. Page 13 of 28. 49. The unfinished objects, rejects, and waste materials found at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa suggest that A. Craft production was exclusively restricted to Chanudaro. B. These large cities were also centers of craft production. C. The Harappans imported all finished goods. D. Waste management was very poor in large cities. Answer. B. These large cities were also centers of craft production. 50. What process was used to create the intricate designs on etched carnelian beads? A. Laser precision carving. B. Applying an alkaline paste and firing the bead. C. Carving with iron chisels. D. Painting with organic dyes that harden over time. Answer. B. Applying an alkaline paste and firing the bead. 51. The Ganeshwar Jodhpura culture in the Khetri region is notable for its A. Extensive use of iron tools. B. Distinctive non-Harappan pottery and an unusual wealth of copper objects. C. Massive stone pyramids. D. Use of gold coinage. Answer. B. Distinctive non-Harappan pottery and an unusual wealth of copper objects. 52. Harappans likely procured gold from A. The Himalayas. B. Rajasthan. C. South India. D. Oman. Answer. C. South India. Page 14 of 28. 53. Assertion A. Harappans established settlements like Nageshwar and Balakot specifically where shell was available. Reason R. Setting up settlements near raw material sources was a strategy to procure materials for craft production. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. 54. Chemical analyses showing traces of nickel in both Omani copper and Harappan artifacts suggest. A. Harappans taught Omani people how to smelt copper. B. Both derived their copper from a common origin, source. C. Nickel was a highly valued currency. D. Mesopotamian artifacts were fake. Answer. B. Both derived their copper from a common origin, source. 55. A large Harappan jar coated with a thick layer of black clay was found in Oman. The thick clay layer was likely meant to A. Decorate the jar for religious purposes. B. Prevent the percolation, leakage, of liquids. C. Hide the true nature of the contents. D. Make the jar heavier for sea voyages. Answer. B. Prevent the percolation, leakage, of liquids. 56. In Mesopotamian texts, the region of Melucha is widely identified by archaeologists as A. The island of Bahrain, Dilmun. B. The copper-producing region of Oman, Magan. C. The Harappan region. D. The Egyptian civilization. Answer. C. The Harappan region. Page 15 of 28. 57. Mesopotamian texts refer to Melucha as a land of A. Seafarers. B. Desert nomads. C. Mountain warriors. D. Gold miners. Answer. A. Seafarers. 58. Which bird, mentioned in Mesopotamian texts as the Hajar bird, is interpreted by some scholars as the peacock? A. The bird of Dilmun. B. The bird of Melucha. C. The bird of Magan. D. The bird of Sumer. Answer. B. The bird of Melucha. 59. The depiction of ships and boats on Harappan seals primarily indicates A. Their belief in a watery underworld. B. The use of maritime networks for trade and communication. C. That Mohenjo-daro was frequently flooded. D. Their reliance on fishing as the sole food source. Answer. B. The use of maritime networks for trade and communication. 60. According to archaeological finds, lapis lazuli was highly valued and primarily sourced from A. Lothal in Gujarat. B. Shotughai in Afghanistan. C. Khetri in Rajasthan. D. Kolar in Karnataka. Answer. B. Shotughai in Afghanistan. Page 16 of 28. 61. Assertion A. The Harappan script is written from right to left. Reason R. Inscriptions on seals show wider spacing on the right and cramping on the left, as if the engraver ran out of space. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. 62. Consider the following statements about the Harappan script. I. It has been deciphered recently. 2. It has too many signs, somewhere between 375 and 400. 3. It is not alphabetical. Which is are correct? A. I and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. I and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer. B. 2 and 3. 63. The longest known Harappan inscription contains approximately how many signs? A. 1. B. 0. C. 2. D. 3765. 5. Answer. B. 26. O. Page 17 of 28. 64. Harappan seals usually contain a line of writing in A. An animal motif conveying meaning to those who could not read. B. The exact weight of the goods. C. A portrait of the priest king. D. A map of the trade route. Answer. A. An animal motif conveying meaning to those who could not read. 65. Exchanges in the Harappan civilization were regulated by a precise system of weights, typically made of a stone called A. Carnelian. B. Steatite. CD, CH Leoptes lazuli. Answer, C. Chert. 66. The lower denominations of Harappan weights followed which system? A. Decimal, 10, 20, 30. B. Binary, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on. C. Sexagesimal, base 60. D. Duodecimal, base 12. Answer, B. Binary, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on. 67. The higher denominations of Harappan weights followed which system? A. Binary. B. Decimal. C. Sexagesimal. D. Duodecimal. Answer, B. Decimal. Page 18 of 28. 68. Which of the following is true regarding the physical characteristics of Harappan weights? A. They were spherical and highly decorated. B. They were cubical with no markings. C. They were conical and inscribed with numbers. D. They were exclusively made of bronze. Answer, B. They were cubical with no markings. 69. What was the primary function of Harappan seals and sealings? A. To serve as currency in markets. B. To identify the sender and ensure the goods were not tampered with. C. To act as passports for citizens. D. To serve as religious amulets. Answer, B. To identify the sender and ensure the goods were not tampered with. 70. The presence of metal scale pans at Harappan sites indicates. A. They minted metal coins. B. They used them for precise weighing, possibly for jewelry or trade. C. They worshipped metal objects. D. They were used in construction. Answer, B. They used them for precise weighing, possibly for jewelry or trade. 71. The priest king statue found at Mohenjo-daro got its name because A. It had an inscription translating to priest king. B. Archaeologists drew parallels with Mesopotamian history where priest kings were known. C. The figure holds a ritualistic sacrificial knife. D. It was found inside the Great Bath. Answer, B. Archaeologists drew parallels with Mesopotamian history where priest kings were known. Page 19 of 28. 72. Which of the following is not an argument presented by scholars regarding Harappan political authority? A. The society had no rulers and everyone enjoyed equal status. B. There was a single, centralized state. C. There were multiple rulers, for example, Mohenjo-daro had a separate ruler from Harappa. D. The society was ruled by a military dictatorship of iron-wielding kings. Answer, D. The society was ruled by a military dictatorship of iron-wielding kings. 73. The theory that the Harappan civilization was a single, highly centralized state is supported by I. The uniformity of Harappan artifacts. 2. The planned layouts of settlements. 3. The standardized ratio of brick size across the region. Which are correct? A. I and 2. B. 2 and 3. C. I and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer, D. I, 2, and 3. 74. A large building found at Mohenjo-daro was labeled as a palace by archaeologists, but A. It contained numerous royal burials. B. No spectacular finds were associated with it to prove it was a royal residence. C. It was found in the lower town. D. It was made entirely of stone. Answer, B. No spectacular finds were associated with it to prove it was a royal residence. Page 20 of 28. 75. The discovery of similar seals, weights, and bricks across widely scattered settlements suggests A. The Harappans engaged in constant warfare. B. A complex system of unified decision-making and implementation. C. That all these items were produced in a single city and exported. D. That the Harappans copied these from Egypt. Answer, B. A complex system of unified decision making and implementation. 76. A seal showing a figure seated cross-legged in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals, is often referred to as A. Proto-Indra. B. Proto-Shiva, Pashupati. C. Proto-Agni. D. Proto-Vishnu. Answer: B. Proto-Shiva, Pashupati. 77. What is the major difficulty in identifying the Pashupati seal directly with the Vedic god Rudra, Shiva? A. Rudra in the Rigveda is not depicted as Pashupati, lord of animals, or a yogi. B. The seal shows a female deity. C. The seal was found in Mesopotamia. D. The Rigveda explicitly condemns the worship of animals. Answer: A. Rudra in the Rigveda is not depicted as Pashupati, lord of animals, or a yogi. 78. Conical stone objects found at Harappan sites have been classified by some scholars as A. Chess pieces. B. Lingas. C. Grinding stones. D. Weapons. Answer: B. Lingas. Page 21 of 28. 79. Assertion A. Some scholars suggest Harappan society had no rulers and enjoyed equal status. Reason R. There is no variation in the sizes of houses or grave goods across any Harappan site. A. Both A and R are true. Both A and R are true, but R is not the explanation. B. A is true but R is false. C. Both A and R are false. D. Answer: D. Both A and R are false. 80. Shamans, in archaeological and anthropological terms, are A. Agricultural laborers. B. Men and women who claim magical and healing powers, and the ability to communicate with the other world. C. Merchants who trade in foreign lands. D. The political rulers of a city-state. Answer: B. Men and women who claim magical and healing powers, and the ability to communicate with the other world. 81. By circa 1800 BCE, most of the mature Harappan sites in regions such as Cholistan had been abandoned. Simultaneously, there was an expansion of population into new settlements in A. Gujarat, Haryana, and western Uttar Pradesh. B. Afghanistan and Central Asia. C. The Deccan Plateau. D. The Gangetic Delta. Answer: A. Gujarat, Haryana, and western Uttar Pradesh. Page 22 of 28. 82. The late Harappan, or successor cultures, are characterized by A. A sudden emergence of massive cities. B. The disappearance of distinctive artifacts like seals, weights, and special beads. C. The invention of iron metallurgy. D. A shift towards a unified writing system. Answer: B. The disappearance of distinctive artifacts like seals, weights, and special beads. 83. Which of the following is considered a possible cause for the decline of the Harappan civilization? A. Climatic change and deforestation. B. Excessive floods and shifting, drying up of rivers. C. Overuse of the landscape. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. 84. Assertion A. The end of the Harappan civilization was brought about by a single, massive flood that submerged all sites. Reason R. All Harappan cities were located on the immediate banks of the Indus River. A. Both A and R are true. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. Both A and R are false. Answer: D. Both A and R are false. 85. Who authored the article, The Mythical Massacre at Mohenjo-daro, 1964? A. George F. Dales. B. R. E. M. Wheeler. C. John Marshall. D. Alexander Cunningham. Answer: A. George F. Dales. Page 23 of 28. 86. R. E. M. Wheeler tried to correlate archaeological evidence of massacres at Mohenjo-daro with textual references in The A. Atharva Veda. B. Rig Veda. C. Mahabharat. D. Upanishads. Answer B. Rig Veda. 87. In 1925, H. Hargreaves found skeletons in a narrow alley in Mohenjo-daro, which led to the alley being named A. Priest's Path. B. Dead Man's Lane. C. Massacre Street. D. Skull Alley. Answer B. Dead Man's Lane. 88. What was George F. Dale's main argument against the massacre theory at Mohenjo-daro? A. The skeletons found belonged to the early Harappan period. B. The skeletons were not of the same period and there is no evidence of widespread burning or armed warriors. C. The skeletons were of animals, not humans. D. The Harappans were immortal according to texts. Answer B. The skeletons were not of the same period and there is no evidence of widespread burning or armed warriors. Page 24 of 28. 89. The term Purandara, used in the Rigveda, which Wheeler associated with the destruction of Harappan cities, means A. Lord of animals. B. Destroyer of forts. C. God of rain. D. Creator of the universe. Answer B. Destroyer of forts. 90. The transition from the mature Harappan to the late Harappan period indicates a shift from A. An urban way of life to a rural way of life. B. A rural way of life to an urban one. C. A peaceful society to a militaristic empire. D. A hunting-gathering society to agriculture. Answer A. An urban way of life to a rural way of life. 91. In the context of Harappan civilization, what are spindle whorls primarily indicative of? A. Pottery making. B. Spinning of thread, textile production. C. Metal smelting. Weighing gold. D. Answer B. Spinning of thread, textile production. 92. Which of the following sites has provided the best evidence of water conservation in the Harappan civilization? A. Banwali. B. Mohenjo-daro. C. Dholavira. D. A. Naslaban, GCA, N. Dholavira. Page 25 of 28. 93. Match the following materials with their probable source regions. A. Copper 1, Pamir Mountains. B. Jade 2, K3, Oman. C. Carnelian 3, Bharuch. A. A2, B1, C. B. 3A3, B2. C. C1A2, B. D. 3, C1A1. B2, C3. Answer A. A2, B1, C3. 94. Consider the following statements regarding Cunningham. I. He was the first DG of the ASI. 2. He began archaeological excavations in the mid-19th century. 3. He realized that Harappa was older than the early historic cities. Which is are correct? A. I only. B. I and 2. C. 2 and 3. D. I, 2, and 3. Answer B. I and 2. 95. Which of the following features indicates that Harappans had a strong sense of privacy in their houses? A. The main entrance did not give a direct view of the interior or courtyard. B. There were no windows in the walls along the ground level. C. Both A and B. D. Neither A nor B. Answer C. Both A and B. Page 26 of 28. 96. The discovery of Mother Goddess terracotta figurines led early archaeologists to classify them as A. Toys for children. B. Educational tools. C. Symbols of nature worship and fertility. D. Portraits of female rulers. Answer C. Symbols of nature worship and fertility. 97. Which term is used by archaeologists to describe a concentration of artifacts that suggests it was a center of production? A. Hoard. B. Factory site, craft center. C. Acropolis. D. Citadel. Answer B. Factory site, craft center. 98. The Harappan script is called Boustrophedon by some because, though generally right to left. A. It uses only animal motifs. B. It is written from right to left in one line and left to right in the next. C. It has a base of 60 signs. D. It translates strictly to Sanskrit. Answer B. It is written from right to left in one line and left to right in the next. 99. Assertion A. Mohenjo-daro was the first Harappan site to be discovered. Reason R. Mohenjo-daro is the most well-known and extensively excavated Harappan site. A. Both A and R are true and R is the explanation. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the explanation. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer D. A is false but R is true. Page 27 of 28. 100. Which of the following is true about the granary at Harappa, Mohenjo-daro? A. It was found in the lower town. B. It had wooden superstructures that decayed, leaving only the brick bases. C. It was used exclusively to store weapons. D. It was definitively proven to be a grain storage by the presence of large intact silos. Answer B. It had wooden superstructures that decayed, leaving only the brick bases. Page 28 of 28.